x404. Humans found.
Different
It's going to be
instances.
It's going to be multiple transcript recordings.
Wow,
Oh,
this
wow.
is
One of them
this is
left. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't find a way to record though from within the app. I should be able to click off a cloud recording somehow, but I don't see that in the app. In calls, I went to settings. I went to tools. Anyways, this may not be recorded, which is weird.
no worries. Zen has his recorder.
Okay.
We can
Is
see
it getting video? Is it going to get the video too, Zane?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
It'll be
Okay,
like
I'll
last
have to-
time. I'll give you the video.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to put you guys in my pocket for right now.
No worries.
Where's Rodolfo?
Rodolfo is actually at Stripe conference. He might be either driving or still wrapping up there. So yeah. Yeah, we should get started. Maybe James, you should probably kick us off. What's happening and how do we know that the agent is at its work, and what were some of your fun moments with the agent?
Oh, this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so well, I started working on it I think Sunday or something, maybe. I don't know, it was over the weekend. And I just wanted to put something together to start capturing the transcripts. So that I don't have to copy and paste them into the bot. And then once we get the transcripts in there, right now I just have like a summarizer, you know what I mean? That'll summarize the meeting. But I can add other LLM workflows that will do like, you know, the tasks that are assigned to people and that sort of thing. But what's nice about at least recording them is I can run those workflows after the fact. It doesn't have to be, you know, something that I capture now. We can run the workflows on later.
So I'm just curious, where is it? So where is it going right now?
Yeah,
like,
tell us more about
where does the bot live and where is the recording going?
So right now it lives on this machine that I'm talking to you on. Yeah, and the bot that's in the call, I just use a service called Recall AI. And it's like a white label service for creating these bots. And they handle all the, you know, joining the meeting, recording the meeting, and then when the meeting's done, there's a webhook on this bot that they'll call, and then I can download the transcript. Yeah. I built one of these for work, so like Recall is very familiar to me. So I was like, oh, let me add that so I can at least start to capture things that happen in the meeting.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then for the AI workflows, I wanted to play with I don't know if you guys you guys familiar with Temporal?
Yeah, you've introduced me and Rodolfo to it.
Temporal's like kind of durable workflows that run in the cloud, and you can have a long running workflow, and if something goes wrong with the workflow, you know, say you have a coding mistake in the workflow, it kind of pauses at an activity that keeps failing, and it'll keep retrying that activity. And then like when you deploy new code, it'll kind of just pick up the change and continue on the workflow. So it manages all that state for you. But there's an open source version of it called DBOS that you can use locally. So I'm using that instead of Temporal. And so far it's been okay. I mean, Temporal is a little bit nicer, but you know, I'm still kind of figuring out my way around it. And then for the models, I'm just using OpenRouter because it was super easy to just hook it up to, you know, a couple of different models. So nothing fancy in the model realm right now.
What's your plan like after like tonight's call, once we have this first like foray with the agent getting into the call? I'm assuming that this act of the agent is pretty much like pulling in a note taker, right? After that, how do you see, I think, the agent orchestrating us or like making decisions or like
so we have that requirements doc that you guys put together, right? Once I get I think there's 2 AI workflows that are described in that document. Like I think what do we call them in the document? Hold on, I have them here.
Let's see. MVP agent, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was like topics and outcomes or something was in there.
Where are we gonna store all the files? Because right now I have that Google Drive folder, but you know I haven't attempted to get a bot to save something to somebody else's Google account or Google folder.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use MCPs, and they have actually what is it called? The Google Workplace, basically CLI tool, GW CLI. But I've only used GW CLI on my own account. I don't know if the bot is able to do it to the shared one that I shared with you guys. So that might,
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I tried using Google Drive at work before for something quick and easy, and like setting it up was not quick and easy. Because it was like a company workspace, and it's like, oh, you gotta go set up permissions for this app to be able to write. And I was like, okay, this is not going to be quick, so I'm not going to do it. I don't know. I don't know where we want to keep them. My thought was once I get the workflow running, I wanted to set up some output to show up in the Slack organization that got set up, right? So that way that we at least have an end to end, and then from there we can figure out, you know, where do we want to put the files? What's the easiest place to put them?
Yeah. Okay.
And then start to build it out from there. Like really start to go, okay, now that we have it flowing end to end, you know, how do we assign tasks and then track progress on the tasks?
I can set things up, you know, with the secret and token and all that stuff, but then certain services, the only thing is it will inevitably get access, I think, to my entire drive if I gave it access to it. So that's the only tricky thing.
James and Tony, think through it, right? Like since we are all pretty technical with GitHub, is there, and I was thinking about Notion and other like ways to, you know, we could use Linear, we could use Notion, but why rely on paid services if we can use GitHub for MD files and for like all the notes and all the like even issues or actions or tasks, because GitHub has everything, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. And we could always just
agree.
have a private repo and push Markdown up to it. Yeah, I like that idea. That's way simpler.
Yeah, and good thing is we're all building in public, right? So we could just use the existing GitHub organization where we've added you all, right?
Yeah.
And again, James, you can spin up repos as well. Yeah.
And furthermore, what we can do is if you use the Google Drive sync and we do a GitHub and check it out locally, but in a folder that's synced to Google Drive, then if we drop our own files in there, then it will be, and then obviously sync it to GitHub, then it'll be in GitHub as well. So that way, you know, one of us has a PDF and we drop a PDF, we could do it into Google Drive, and then if we use GitHub to sync that, whatever. So you can do a best of both worlds. So
anchoring, like a blockchain.
Blockchain, and then have AR/VR so that we can view it in three dimensions.
So what's the organization on GitHub? I don't know if I have it or not.
I shared the link, but let me see if you are in there. You're not. So I think it shows me failed invitations to Rodolfo, to Zen, and to Alan, but I think I can add you. Can you give me your handle?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in here.
Really? I think I joined. Let me double check.
Yeah. Let me know, Alan. Yeah, I can add you. James, your handle is so crazy, man. I sometimes worry that I'm adding the wrong guy.
Because
you said James?
Yes. No, I said like, you know, Treason X, the handle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I used to hang out on BBSs in the 90s when I was a kid, and it was my handle from those days. Funny story, it started off as Treason, and then I ran into somebody who had Treason, so I had to become Treason X.
Oh.
And then we went on dates a couple times because it was a girl, which was crazy. Back in the 90s, that was crazy, guys.
Back in the 90s, wow. So guys, I'm making everybody an owner.
How you met your wife now?
No, I met my wife on AOL. Way back in the day.
It's not Treason and Treason X.
No, we did not get along. It did not work out.
All right, Alan, let me know if you want to get into.
Yeah, I'm not in the group.
Okay, let me send you the invite again then.
Yeah.
Retry. Okay, I'm retrying. Okay, it sent you. Zen, I'm also sending you again.
Okay. Am I not in there?
You're not, yeah. So I just retried for you and Alan, but I think for Rodolfo, I'll try tomorrow once I meet him. Yeah.
Yeah. So for my organization, we all in the same GitHub organization, so we can do like share the cloud skills in plugins.
Ooh,
So
that's cool.
we're-
Yeah.
have like a use case for our skills for our use case, and then we can just like share the skills in our for plugins.
Oh, good.
Everybody
That's
can
so cool.
update the plugin. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so it's actually better than GitHub, because you just like update for plugins and you get all the skills we share.
I see a x404 bot coming up there, which is I think James.
I just did that.
Wow, this is the speed, man. This is the speed. Yeah. Okay, let me just go back to the proposed agenda in case anybody else has an important topic to bring up.
I saw Jay said, is Jay here? He said that he's missing the invite for today.
Ooh, let me see why.
Jay.
He is not in his email. He's probably checking a different account. So let me send it to him on WhatsApp.
He asked on Slack just now.
All right.
We can send it just a meeting. We can just send a meeting link. Huh?
Yeah. Can you send him the same on Slack as well? I just
Yeah.
sent on WhatsApp. Yeah.
You didn't want to tell him he was voted out of the group.
Yeah, once Jay comes in, we'll ask him like, is he even on that email address that we've had in our records? Hey Jay.
Okay, he's there.
Hey, you're on mute.
Hey guys.
Hey, is the email that we have on our calendar invite, is that your email, right?
JI@Gmail.
Yep.
Hey, buddy.
I don't know what. I didn't see the invite for today for some reason. Yep, I don't have the invite.
I think the invites are probably going to your like spam.
I sent it to your Gmail, Jay. It's definitely in your Gmail.
It's because it's Tony sending you. That's why they're landing in your spam folder.
Check the spam folder too. Nothing there. Tony's whitelisted for sure.
Anyways, we'll have to figure it out. Yeah.
That is pretty strange. I don't even have agents wired up to my personal email. That might be eating up shit. So.
But do you see the x418 bot already listening to us?
I just pushed the code that I have up for the bot. One thing that I'm doing with this is I'm just running an experiment to see how well following compound engineering works with this project. So I'm just using that plugin to try to build this out and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, like experimentations within this group, and see if we can take some things forward. By the way, I was just in the process before the call. I was just in the process of deploying Nemotron Omni to the NVIDIA machine. So I want to see if I could do some. Right now, the Qwen 35B that we have on the machine can only do text and code, but it cannot do image and audio. So now with this Nemotron model, I think we can do image and audio as well. So we'll see. I'll give you a report in a day or two. Yeah.
Cool. Have you tried the new DeepSeek model?
I have not yet. I'll figure out because this NVIDIA machine can probably only host 2 models at the same time with the 128 gigs that we have the memory limitation of. So I'm thinking we'll probably have to suspend one model in order to try the other. So right now we can try and Nemotron together, because both are together taking almost around like 80 gigs out of a 128 gig, which if you take the system memory and everything else, we probably have only 120 gigs available. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the V4 flash is pretty big, even though it's MOE, it's still pretty huge, right? 258 bill. And Kishore, why are you not able to do image and video on the 35B? Are you doing Quen 35B 3.5, 3.6? They're all image and video enabled, so they're multimodal. So
I don't know, like this particular deployment that we had is just text and code, but I can go back and check what did we do actually to, I don't know, remove some of those things, or we actually downloaded a previous model.
Yeah, you probably downloaded a different, model for text only, because the native, even GGUF and MLX versions from Onslaught and Bartowski, they all support. Because I'm running the same. I'm running the 35B 3B for quantization, 4int quant on mine. Both 3.5, 3.6. 3.6 actually is good, but it does have a tendency of repeating itself. And of course, mine is only 32 gigs, right? But yeah, they do support images as well.
I see. So maybe we probably have done something to remove that. Yeah.
My general read is that if you're doing multimodal images and videos, 3.6 is pretty decent, but Gemma is a lot better. Just natively multimodal, Google is a lot better. But if you're doing agentic, tasks, medium horizon, I'm not going as far as like, long horizon tasks, but like those 3.6 is a lot better than Gemma. Gemma is like crap, to be honest. I don't know how they even released it.
So I think that the good thing then is promote 3.5 to 3.6, and that way I can get a better quantized upgraded model, right? And that should also come with vision, you were saying, multimodal.
Yeah. It doesn't do audio natively. That's the only thing, but NVIDIA does audio as well, right? And it's like optimized for RAG and stuff like that. So it's definitely worth checking NVIDIA out. There are a couple of other optimizations I can talk about as well.
Gotcha. That's good to know. James, you said that you already pushed the code.
Yep.
Nice.
So if somebody wants to play with it, it should be easy to set up.
Yeah, you've taken the lead, you've started this. Now let's start building more and more capabilities into the orchestrator. Yeah,
I want to get the just a couple example workflows in there, and then it should be easy to like add additional workflows to it.
Nice.
The summarization's in there, but it's okay. And then I was working on the tasks flow next, but I didn't have time to finish it before the meeting. I wanted to, but I didn't get it.
Cool. Yeah, Jay, I don't have your GitHub handle.
I think I posted it. I gave it to you. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, no worries. I can add you in that x404 org there. So what we are saying is that the more and more documents or more and more like projects and stuff, like anything that is coming out of x404 agents, probably can go to GitHub in the beginning, right? Because that could be used as a repository. And again, it has an MCP, so we can do more agentic stuff from GitHub.
I guess where do we want to run it though? Like right now it's running on my machine.
Yeah, that's something that we should also think through. Is there, well, if we can't do anything else, then we could use, so I have free credits in Daytona. We could do that, or we could basically start hosting things on the NVIDIA machine.
Yeah, I couldn't run it on the NAS behind me too.
If you can, yeah.
Yeah, using Cloudflare.
What did you build it in, James? Just curious. I haven't seen the.
Oh, just Python.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. Agents do good with Python. It's an easy language to wrap your head around.
Yep.
Okay. Tony's on. Tony, are you through security? Can you talk?
I think he's.
I'm still. There's some sort of problem here with them checking us in. It's been taking like 10 or 15 minutes, and I don't know. What did I miss?
On the Slack side, is there anything else you want us to do, or we should just start using it and adding agents to it, or like, I don't know, adding integrations to it?
Yep. Yeah, I don't think that I made all of you guys workspace administrators.
Cool.
So you guys should be able to create Slack apps. Technically, they're Slack apps. And
yeah.
Actually, there's two things you can do. I think you can just connect a third-party tool, but then you can also create a Slack app. So it's got like a persona and a name and an image, and then you can connect a tool to it. So that's what I do in like one of my space is I do have third-party apps, Cursor and Claude and N8N and all these things connected. But then I also created an external bot that I used a Slack app, and then the Slack app, there's a Slack app interface where you can register the app, give it API keys, give it an image, give it a name, and then you can invite it to different channels. So what we can do is if we have specific channels that we want to leverage and use with the bot, then you can add that app technically to one of the public channels. And you might as well just make all the channels public. There's no need to be private.
There's no need for
a small
private,
group of all of us.
Yeah.
Tony, I saw that it's a 30-day trial, right?
Yeah, it's 30 days unpaid, and then after that, we can only have like up to 10 external apps and only 90 days of history.
Yeah. Which I think is fine for now, right? Like, unless we get really heavy usage and like important decisions that are only in Slack and nowhere else, then we might want to see what to do. But I'm thinking like, why not make Slack right now just a transitory, thing where transactions happen, chats happen, and then things move into some document space or maybe even GitHub. Yeah, I think that Slack is better as a pipe right now for agents. They just like read things from Slack and post, once things are finalized, they can take it away. All right, I'm still reading just the last week's document that I created on, on Google Drive. What I'm trying to figure out is what's the best way for us to like get now to like a few things that have no consensus, right? Let me share what I'm talking about, and then feel free to chime in. Yeah, so this is something I extracted from the last 6 weeks. This part, I think we'll get back to this. This is really the key piece. We discussed a few ideas on the Miro board idea pad, right? Some of those ideas are also about building some sort of a AI roll-up model, right? If we have known contacts, we can basically see if we can help them like really embed agents or do some things that could make their businesses more profitable and apply shared AI. Then Zen, I think you mentioned either the last week or the week before, you took us through the auto loop for autonomous companies. So there's something here we could do, setting up such a company within X404.
Number 4 and number 2 are kind of the factory and the
factory. Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing. It's like that's kind of what I'm doing. It's like it's a factory that's basically building companies.
Let's make it simpler then. Yeah. And then we have I think 5 is pretty much in place now, right? The infrastructure. 6 is also. We got some names last time. Zen, you had some names too, right? For the guests.
Yeah, I have a couple. Do we have any criteria for guests, or just anybody we think would be interesting to talk to?
Like, let's just propose and see what would be the best agenda for like getting that guest in. And I think initially we could be loose, but as we start gaining more and more like actual perspective, right, of the 15 or 25 minutes we dedicate for the guest out of a 1 hour, community sync, we can be more tighter. But right now, I think let's open up and try out with some guests that we find interesting personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, the good thing is that we're trying to bring in guests for now who are either like AI, adjacent AI related, or like have some good like perspective to share with us. Or we find like, even if let's say we bring an artist, right? And they're not using AI, they have nothing to do with AI, but you find their perspective, I don't know, significant or good to share with the group, then bring them on. Yeah.
Yeah. So one person I was going to see is a guy named Jimmy. I think it's Jimmy Balchani. He's an ex-BCG guy. He now runs his own AI lab, you could say. But he would bring a perspective not necessarily on like the frontier of AI, but more about, he's working heavily with organizations around implementing AI. So he would bring more of a perspective of like, hey, this is the challenges like large organizations are facing, because he's gotten a lot of traction with organizations. And yeah, so I think he would maybe bring that perspective of like, hey, this is the day-to-day reality of organizations and what they're struggling with. And maybe some opportunities for collaboration around at least that forward deployed lab thing that Rodolfo had brought up before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other angle would be, I think Tony has proposed this briefly, also bringing in builders in our network who are building adjacent stuff, or like the one example was what, Rajesh has built, which is the agent inbox, identity kind of thing, right? That could also be interesting for them to, why did they, what are they trying to solve? And then some of it kind of aligns with, some of our vertical ideas, right? Where, people can come and not necessarily shill, but at least if they're builders in our network we trust, they can come and talk about the challenges of, how they got something to market and what kind of support they need, because that is kind of a really interesting broadening spectrum of things where, they might go. And then the other thing I was telling Kishore, and this goes to our, all of us, is like, maybe once we have some traction, find somebody at Anthropic or OpenAI to come and, blah about something, what they're releasing, and then maybe in lieu we get some credits for X4.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm gonna do this as like a rocket emoji. That would be like
Awesome.
Anthropic, OpenAI, I don't know, even others like
Google. I mean, Google's, fine.
Mind and
there's another guy that's like who built, I think I might have told you guys a few weeks ago, he built this, basically the factory, where it's like no human reviews the code. It's a security startup. They're trying to get something. That guy was interesting too. He had a lot of knowledge. So
yeah, those kind of things.
Dan, you said that you know the founder of like Zo Computer.
I met the founder of Zo Computer. I'm also meeting the founder of that adaptive. I think I'm meeting them tomorrow or day after that. Adaptive.
See if you can get, because these are companies that we might like either learn from, or we might actually, as you said, Jay, we might actually build upon. I was very interested in trying to figure out how do we get this guy from Ramp Labs, Alex Levinson, who gave that talk yesterday. He was literally the guy to talk to for like software dark factories. So, and these guys are actually implementing it. Yeah. Anyways, this is good. So we probably should build a guest pipeline and start maybe scheduling it, right? So I think Chris was supposed to come back from vacation this week. So I'll test with him if he's ready to join like in the next week or so. Alan, what's your thought? Like, is there somebody you want to build in, like, or pull in from your community?
Yeah, I think I can try to come up with some AI plus hardware. Yeah, so a lot of people who are trying to use AI, two perspectives. One is AI agent controlling hardware and AI hardware, and also another perspective is the the actual GPUs. Who there's a lot of startup actually, not like startup company in China making making like GPUs, and we can see if some of the speakers can share some of them.
Nice, that would be cool.
Yeah, I have some, Kishore, I'm working with Savan and his team in India. They're building robotic arms and, IoT connected edge claw platform. So they're working with them, so they could be a target once we're ready.
Yeah, once we're ready. Yeah. All right, so this means that we might have like at least 4 to 5 folks in the pipeline, at least, and we'll try to like slot for 15 minutes, maybe at the most 20 minutes, right? And that would be like a good intro, and then they can stay, right? They don't have to like necessarily come and drop off in 15-20 minutes. They can stay. This is a public forum, and it'll be good to just start testing out what the groups like learnings and directions are like evolving to. Yeah.
One other perspective we're missing too is the design perspective. We don't really have any design, as far as I know, in the group. So there's Sally. I know Sally is. I meet with Sally every so often. Sally from DWE. So that's.
Yeah.
Nice. But if anybody knows any other designers who are doing interesting things, that would be a good one.
I have a friend that's he was traditionally a designer product person, but he's building a kind of like one of those agent orchestration UIs that seem to be popular right now. It's scape.work. I like it. Scape, huh? What was that?
How do you spell it?
Oh, Scape, SCAPE.work.
Okay.
Yeah, his name's Elliot. It's really nice. I wish I could use it, but I don't use Mac, so I can't use it. But he's got a lot of neat ideas on like orchestrating agents, and even he's starting to play with ideas of like, instead of people communicating with each other, having your agent communicate with somebody else's agent through like an encrypted, and through like an encrypted like private chat channel. So yeah, the only thing about him, like the idea is fantastic, but he's got a lot in that product right now. But he does have a lot of great ideas.
Gotcha. Yeah. That sounds like somebody else also in my network who could use that.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, he saw like a screenshot of something I was doing. He took it and turned it into like an entire product, and he's got customers now. I think he's got like 100 of them.
Nice.
Yeah, and this entire thing's just built with him and Claude for the most part.
Cool. Very cool. Okay. Anybody else who has any thoughts on the guest speaker program before we move on?
There's a robot here. Tony's got a robot.
Tony, are you adding a robot as a guest?
They're deploying robots to do tour guides in the, Changi. I think that's
my kid was trying to talk to the cleaning robot.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think they're doing something similar in Sentosa. Rich people need robots to go and show them around in Sentosa.
You guys would not believe, because this is public information I can share, like, what a particular name can do to a government act, right? So we were talking to some agency today, and they talked about a bill that has bipartisan like support, and I think it was passed this year, and it's all about reducing government's like wasted licenses of SaaS companies and technology companies that the government is like sitting on and paying 15, 20, 30, $50 million a year. And the government folks don't even know that they are not using it or they're not maximizing it, right? So we're like, okay, that's good. And then the guy introduces the name of the act, and the act's name is Samosa Act. And folks who know the word samosa, right? In Indian snack food, samosa is basically a snack. It's like I'm sure many people have had it. So, while we were listening to the call, I just like literally was trying to not laugh at it. And I'm like, if you make an act like that, I'm very sure that nobody's going to take it seriously. So there goes our tax dollars, basically.
Yeah, I doubt Mr. Trump has cravings for samosa versus KFC, Burger King.
Yeah. All right, we'll move to the consensus and non-consensus sections, right? So the easy part is, I think we've kind of settled with some primary motivations. Tony, thank you for like doing that voting. Because I think, James, you weren't part of that voting, right? So are we still looking good with maybe the initial, primary, secondary, or even like third level motivations? If anybody has any thoughts.
I think they make sense to me. I mean, for me, it's like, yeah, it's the learning growth thing. I just like experimenting, trying out new ideas, and sharing the information with people. So that goes along with community.
Cool. And thereby some of the fallout of that decision is that we continue to be like open by default, right? I know that this was coming from the call notes, so
yeah.
But I like that the call notes captured it very well. Like, we're basically going to do a whole bunch of context in memory in MD files. And this was probably one of the share outs that I think Rodolfo and I did in one of the calls. So it has probably picked this up too. But yeah, this is not something where we need a consensus at this point. And then this was also distribution before product is also probably coming from, I think, some learnings. If I remember, Zen, you also pointed this.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah,
I think the experimentation thing is cool. Like, just even, I'm kind of excited about this bot that James just built. It's like it's automatically now we're thinking like, oh, okay, now how do we get it to do tasks, and how do we get it to automatically just start doing the next thing, which is cool. I like that.
Cool. Yeah, the thing is like just getting the ball rolling, right? Once you have something kind of set up, it's like, oh, let's tack this on. Oh, let's tack this on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to, and then it kind of naturally starts to evolve. So I like that approach.
Yeah, I think there were two random, crazy, forward-looking ideas I was talking to Kishore about briefly when we had met. And then goes back to James, what you and Zen are saying, right? But like, one crazy idea is that why do we have to babysit the Miro board? Why can't we, send agents to the Miro board? They pick up the projects, they generate prototypes, and then we come and review them, right? Now, the foundational issue there is, where is the infrastructure that you run it on, and what components you have? So that needs to be solved. Maybe the BGX, shared cost structure could solve that. But it's like, hey, you have these ideas. Do you have to babysit those ideas, or do you run them and see what it's cooking and go down that route? Some might not be cookable, which is actually good that there are some broader concepts, but goes back to like, how can you build autonomously of sorts these things? And then the other thing, which is probably a little bit of a North Star, if we survive the next 6 months, a year, from a community and learning growth perspective, is that implicitly, whatever, I hate using the word playbook, but whatever kind of like organic thing that we build to kind of bring the community together, can you publish that so that these things can spawn up in other places, like Kishore was saying, right? Hey, these guys x404 community, and they can fork that, they can run it in Spain, they can run it in wherever. They might not use all the tools, they might not like all the content, but it's something that can be open sourced as well, where the community spawns other communities and then they can decide whatever the parameters. But that's like a very, very long North Star, where we say, hey, we created a community that became something big, but organically. So that's another thing. That's more human community side of things, kind of very similar to Zen, what you're saying, what you were thinking, at least thematically.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Which goes back to like, if we start trialing out on like our idea factory that is somehow done using some sort of a software or agentic factory, I feel like we'll learn a whole ton from that. And everything that we're basically talking could probably become more of a, okay, let's fine tune orchestration here. Let's like fine tune, I don't know, reviews and correctness here. The agents are obviously I think single agents are pretty solid, but how do you basically communicate across a role set of agents?
Yeah, like I think Jay, you said something that sparked a little, it's just like, it's almost like we're observing and the agents are doing and we're feeding ideas, but we're almost like the coach in this situation and like giving them what they need to do the work, but we're kind of overseeing it, if you will. So I think that's interesting. And I'm trying to, that's sort of what I've been trying to do with some of the auto loops. I'm even thinking about like, okay, can I plug in some of the learnings into here so that, or like what Alan was saying earlier about just maybe some of the skills that I'm building over there, I can just plug in back over here so that we can just reuse some of that stuff over here too. So
yeah, there's
go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, there's I was at a workshop a couple days ago, and the guy who runs Thailand's Claude community was presenting, and he's built like an alternative to OpenClaw with like better memory orchestration, basically. But he said for one of his open source projects, he hasn't touched the code in months. His agent, which he calls Samantha after the movie Her, has been updating the open source project for the last few months. And he just checks in from time to time to see the updates. He said he spends more time on his agents than he does using his agents for the end result of what they do. So he's just building up an autonomous factory.
yeah,
Because basically the way you think about it is they start off being junior employees that you need to teach them what to do. And over time, they become senior employees that he gives more and more empowerment. And the whole goal is to get your agents to gain seniority, is to take on more autonomy. And so it's exactly what you said, Jay. I can try to get this guy also to jump on board. Very, very smart guy. He actually built Thailand's #1 payment platform and sold it years ago, and then came out of retirement because of this whole agent boom.
So good.
But
yeah.
I gotta
Bring him on, man. Yeah, if you can.
Yeah, there's I just pinged the link. There is another one, Zan. I don't know if you've seen this. This is trending. It just blew up. Evidently, you can set up your agents, AI Slack for agents. The agents are CMO, CRO. They keep doing the thing. The video is kind of pretty fucking crazy. But it's kind of like in that vein. One interesting thing is that when you start babysitting some of this, like especially with the local models, it is a very interesting experience that I've had in the last few days, where I have to take out my stick and slap the stupid 35B couple of times because it keeps repeating itself. You have to watch it, and it's the trade-off of, like, if you want to run something for free, you gotta give in with your time. But eventually, when you think about this, in a larger context where things are moving by the community and you're watching it, the agents taking the feedback, adjusting its own memory. Hermes is doing a great job. To be honest, I'm super impressed by it. But that kind of feedback loop also feeds in to, let's say if you deploy something, it will it will have the observability. And the crazy idea is also that, hey, you might have customer tickets flowing in for people using the product, and it's also watching that. It can add the features. So, going back to that adaptive software kind of construct with dark factories or whatever is kind of cooking. Nobody's doing it, at scale, unless Ramp and, Stripe and these guys obviously have the money to throw at it. But in a community setting, is there a playbook that you can build? Not today, but like incrementally, while, eating your own dog food would be something interesting.
the other thing, one other thing I'll add too is I'm interested in, because in the beginning there was this question of like, can it be done? Like, can you have agents working autonomously? But now I feel like it's becoming more clear. Okay, yeah, it can be done, but then now it's like, can they actually do something useful? Is the next question. Like, we know we can have them run autonomously and generate a bunch of, let's say, AI slop articles, but can they actually do something that's actually value adding? Like, I feel that with the dark factories and stuff too, I hear a lot of people talking about, I have my factory, but I don't hear as many people talking about, like, here's something useful that it actually did that, like, brought traffic to my site or created revenue or whatever it is. So that's one of the learnings that I'm trying to see too, is like, can it actually do something meaningful?
Yeah, Zan, I think that's something that you and I have been discussing.
Yeah.
This is a great, James would be smiling and Alan would smile, right? So one of the, I don't give a shit about, getting a summary in the morning for the emails that I can read. All that crap is nonsense, right? So what I did with Hermes and the local model, my goal and purpose is I run a Proxmox, home lab. And what I wanted to do was that I did this experiment with Gemini. I gave it full SSH access. I said, this is the damn thing, create a few Linux containers, install Gitia, which is like a GitHub alternative, wire it with a mail server automatically, and then wire it with Docploy, which is like Vercel. And I don't want to see anything in the middle. Fuck all with all your, sorry for the words, but all the errors, resolve it and report back when everything's ready. And even with Gemini, I spent maybe an hour and a half, the whole stack was ready. Like, it was truly for the first time, I'm like, okay, the brain is working, the hands are there, but my challenge was that I wasn't happy that Gemini is able to do this and poor Quen is not able to do this. So then my challenge was, how do I run this with local thing? And Quen was able to do it, but then it got stuck. I had to tweak it, but for a free model, it can, stand up and do DevOps in real time that I can watch and steer it is a pretty interesting thing. And that also means that you can actually tweak it. And, as we go into the models are going to get better, right? You can do a whole lot. And one of the other patterns that I'm seeing is that, which is very interesting, which is why Hermes is something that I would say everybody should try, is that once I did that, though it failed in 2 or 3 places where I had to steer it, my model crashed, I restarted it. By the end of it, it automatically said, this is your DevOps skill that I have created for you to reuse on other Proxmox thingies or other thingies, which means that you have a reusable skill, which is kind of that adaptive software kind of perspective, and it's very interesting what it does. I haven't run the skill because I'm still resolving the issues, but it's promising. It's very promising, and it is very different set of use cases. In fact, yesterday night, one of my other machines, my NVIDIA driver crashed because I upgraded to Debian. And James, Trixie is kind of like crashing stuff. And I was like, so I knew I saw a post and like another hour of worth of work. I'm like, okay, this is an SSH key. This is the server. Go fix my NVIDIA drivers. I don't want to do these kind of things anymore. So it seems that to be honest, I think it is impressive that it can hold the context for 10 to 15 turns, which these tasks are pretty good while well scoped into. If it goes beyond that, then the idea is that, hey, is there a harness that essentially can, stop the server, restart it, give it new context, compact the things. And those intelligences are being built, especially in Pi coding agent and whatnot. So it's definitely promising that we can see and we can instrument a lot of these things, going forward, especially the ones where you don't want to do that work and it's like boilerplate, right?
Cool.
Almost all the things that I do on Linux machines now, I just have Claude do it. I have like one repo that's like the dot files, and then I'm like, go do this. I don't know what's going on. Go figure this out. And part of me's like, I'm gonna be sorry about this someday, like when I can't get into my machine and I've forgotten how everything works.
Yeah, it is. I told Kishore this crazy thing, which is, when it happens with your own use case, it brings in a very different kind of flavor. And by the way, I also I use Gemini because Gemini is like bundled, right? So it does these things. So I use Gemini, but I want to do it with a local model. That's the goal, right? That is like, then I'm not paying for the junk and it's like there. But one of the crazy examples that I gave to Kishore, which I can send you guys the script. So evidently I gave it a task. And this is Gemini, by the way, and I gave it a task to install Docker, and it did not have sudo permissions, which is like root permissions.
Yep.
It actually decided and did 5 things, and it broke the container to get root access by itself, started installing Debian and other containers automatically. And I'm watching it. I'm like, what the fuck is this thing doing? Like, I didn't ask it to do. And it's like, oh, by the way, I did not have sudo containers, sudo rights. So I figured out a way to mount the whole server's hardware directory into the container so that I can replicate this thing. And I was like, oh my fucking God, like this is like crazy. Fortunately, it's still running in a VM, so you can do whatever. But it's interesting to see that some of these principles that you apply, and you see the sandboxing being a critical piece and all of those things. Once you see it happen, it becomes natural for you to kind of like give the guardrails. And it is interesting that with the Hermes agent, it actually has a set of guardrails that you can enable, that you cannot do SSH, you cannot run these commands, but you can also run it in sandbox. And it's very, very interesting where it's going, where you could delegate a whole lot of tasks, whether they are like digital tasks or otherwise, getting to that area where it's a little bit hands off. Except for local models, you have to watch the babies, they're not creating havoc in your network or whatever.
Yeah, I never let them do sudo. I'm always like, if you need sudo, let me know, I'll do it for you.
Yeah. All right, this is good. I'm seeing like a lot of actual usage of local models coming up, right? And Jay, I think you're probably trying out a whole bunch, so maybe just keep sharing them on our group now even in Slack, so that the agent can pick them up. Yeah. We can probably ask further questions to the agent. That's what I usually do. Like when my OpenClaw shares any particular update from different threads that I'm watching, right, of AI news, I actually now go and say, hey, so if this new thing has come up, can you compare what it is with my install base, right, in NVIDIA machine, and can I actually even do it, and how would I do it? And then it kind of like very quickly goes and produces a quick report that, hey, this compares this much with your Quen. If you install it, you'd be able to like squeeze in just 2 models and things like that. So I actually like that the local model space is getting hotter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think to that point, Kishore, what I've seen is that some of these things, once you run them locally, they have a very different execution profile versus what the benchmarks say and all of that kind of stuff, right? Because like a lot of these things, like and half of the time, like Andre Kripali was talking about this today. I don't know if you guys saw, but half of it's like you kind of blame yourself. You're like, maybe I didn't prompt it right. Maybe my system prompt
wasn't right,
maybe the turns that I'm giving, or it's too detailed or not. But it is also the execution profile of these things, how they are performing, and I think it's going in the right direction for sure, but it is very time consuming.
Yeah. All right, so in the interest of time, I'll basically let go of these right now. We don't really need to align on this, but how do we align on these two? I think these are more important areas where if we are starting to build things, like James obviously now thinking about hosting the agent, or like, building things that are more from our idea factory, then, well, none of us actually wants to build ideas, by our own hands, right? What we actually want is to build the factory that builds the ideas. So what's the best way to think through this? We don't have to solve this today, but I'm just thinking, are there some approaches, some questions we aren't asking yet for us to align or to prioritize?
Yeah, I think the shared compute economics is kind of foundational, sure, to be honest. Maybe there is a set of experiments we can run on the DGX if we can, like, multiplex it with the smarter model, and then multiple clients that everybody's kind of like playing with, because everybody's use case is going to be different. And of course, we are talking about mainframe like time sharing shit going on. But, I think that is foundational, because once you have that, like a little bit of like, not a full harness for everybody, but like 2 or 3 experiments, then you can say, okay, we can pick the experiments that will fit, or even run the experiments, see if it fit or not. And then the second part I would think is whether it's the Miro board ideas or something that can, be prototypable by, couple of iterations, or some would require more thinking, and that might help in prioritization. But again, I think there's some prioritization that needs to be done. Whether we do it, whether we give it to Claude and say, look at the Miro board, prioritize which is doable and not doable by humans versus agents, that's another thing.
Is there such a thing like pooling our Claude credits together and like using it? Because I know that from a legal standpoint, that would basically be terms of conditions and all of that. But are folks actually figuring out like data markets? How you have the mobile data markets where people buy data from each other?
Yeah, that was one idea, Kishore. I think that is a little bit, especially Claude is a little bit, kind of like crazy in banning these kind of use cases,
banning accounts.
right? Any of those subscription models are like that. But there was one example of that. One crazy example is like invite guests who are working in enterprises who have CEOs, CTOs, token maxing budgets. They're not using their token maxing budgets, and they can sell it to others at a lower cost. But again, I think there's something there. I saw a couple of open source projects that basically let you deploy like this kind of front end. So you can have like a shared open web UI server, and then you could like channel through. But that was all kind of like that has been kind of defeated by this whole subscription issue that they don't want. But that's one way to kind of like do it. But again, you're on the legality curve there. The other was like setting up Light LLM, because I tried that. But you can set up Light LLM, you can set up multiple subscriptions, OAuth it, and then you do like a full user management RBAC stuff that these are the 5 people. Light LLM is questionable with their NPM hack right now, but that is another thing where Light LLM was basically for enterprises to deploy one single control plane, and then you can provision different accounts, 3 or 4 accounts, and then you can have users use those accounts. And that is one example. That's one of the best examples I've seen. They've got a good dashboard. You can manage the users. But again, now it's kind of like downstreamed into you. If you're using OAuth tokens, then you could be blocked any day, and you could be blocked in a much worse way that you might not be able to get that thing. So that's what we need to solve. Which is basically we need to think about shared compute, whether local or otherwise.
Yeah.
To run the experiments.
Yeah, that's good highlight on both the experiment as well as shared compute. Yeah. Right. So as we get more and more, I think compute needs or like more and more doing by our agents, I think those problems will become more and more clearer to us, and then we can figure out where the things come from. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Right. This is pretty much it from the consensus decision making. Any other things that we haven't decided yet? I think also for the agent's sake that is listening into this conversation. This could be, I think this could be the format from here on, right? We could also try, maybe put like a 2 minutes each, sharing what we learned, what we like shipped. James, one of the things we could do is also probably bring in the temporal demo, or like how you actually started using it and what you've seen so far. Yeah,
I have a couple of things that I've done at work. I can also talk about the radio station.
Why not, like just do a quick why don't you just share the screen and play some?
Oh, yeah, that sounds fun.
That'll be fun.
The radio right now, the radio station?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, let me open a tab.
Is the DJ live right now?
The DJ's always live, man.
The DJs are always live. They're LLS. Hold on, let me just move this to
This would be a good note to end the call on. So this is fun.
Move to a new window. Yeah. And then I'll share this. So this is my radio. This is my radio station, and this is where I kind of. And I'll turn. You guys hear that? No.
Yeah.
Let me know if it's too loud.
Fine.
Yeah, so this is the radio station. I just added selfies, so these are all the LLM DJs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here's the one.
What happens in here, right, is right now we have this DJ on. Her name's Bassweight. She's an EDM, dubstep DJ. And she's running her rotation, which is 2 hours, right? And during the rotation, they come in and they pick the music, they play the music, but they also, if we go in here, they run segments. So like I think if I do this.
Who needs therapy when you can just scream into a drum and bass breakdown? Coming up, the chemists are here to turn your
I don't hear the audio. You guys definitely hear it.
Yeah. We can hear her saying something. That is definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, like. Yeah, that was not going that great because it's funny because I can't hear anything, but you guys seem to be able to hear it.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Yeah, so the DJs they come in and they play, and in the morning at 6:30, the DJs set the DJ schedule. So if you come in here, there's a whole bunch of DJs that we've defined. Yeah, and my cousin builds these DJs out, and in here you can kind of give the DJ like, you know, profile image, what models you want to use, a custom model. You give it the personality prompt, and then you can give it music tastes, like what types of music it should pick. And then they come on and they chat, so we can go back into public chat and we can say, hey.
Man, this is what I call taste, man.
Yeah.
So wait, somebody's listening on this radio station, or is it for you when you want to listen to it?
It's mostly me and one other person for the most part, but anybody can come and join if they really want to. It's one-shot.bot. Yeah.
But meaning it's always playing, like they're always playing stuff, or is it only when you like turn it on? And
always playing. It's always playing.
And the conversations and the DJ profiles are set by you guys and the personality prompt. But after that, all the conversations are LLM driven.
Yeah, they're all LLM driven. Yeah.
And you guys are using what, Claude?
Well, you can pick the model. I don't know why Bassweight's not responding. She should, unless she's like taking her time with the tool. You can pick the model. We just use Open Router right now. You can pick the model, whatever model you want. And you can pick more than one model, because what we do is you can rotate through the model to get like a little bit of variation in the response from the LLM. Or you can see like one model does better with one personality than another personality.
Nice, very cool.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of tools, so they can search the library. They can do shout outs. Oh, there she goes. She took a long time. She was looking at all the music.
He was waiting for me to join, man.
Yeah, they can search the library. Oh, if you want, you can ask for a shout out. So during their next segment, they'll mention you or mention something about what was going on in chat. So when they come up and play their DJ segment. One thing that I'm going to be deploying tomorrow morning is I added an employee to the radio station. His name is Jack Sparrow. And if we're missing music, they can give Jack Sparrow a job to go find the missing music. And then Jack will go out and find the music and then let the DJ know when it's ready in the library.
So where are you sourcing the music from?
Oh, Tidal. It comes mostly from Tidal.
Oh, I see. From your own subscriptions. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Tidal, you can actually, it's easy to download music from Tidal. So I download it.
Okay, got it. So it's a combination of local sourced and whatnot. So it's not like the music is also generated, because next question was gonna be like, what kind of bill you're running on?
That's what I was wondering. Actually.
No, this is the library right here, right? She kind of gave us some stuff.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It actually makes sense.
Yeah, and right now, Bassweight, there's two DJs that play by default when there's no DJs on the schedule. Bassweight's a default DJ, and Jaded Jake is another DJ. Jaded Jake is like a Gen Xer from the 90s, and he's just very mad that he has to work at the radio station to put his kids through college, and that's his personality.
That is hilarious.
And we force him to play dubstep, and he hates it. And what's nice about this is all the DJs have their own memory files, and then they have a shared file where they can talk amongst themselves about things that happen in chat or gossip about all of the other DJs together in that shared markdown file. And that's kind of how they communicate.
That's very cool.
Yeah, this is like I said, this is just like a playground I've had running, I think, for like 8 months now, and it's kind of grown up over the time. And then I added this. This is a little like LLM research page, so it'll go out and research the current artist and song. You know, give you the genres, some social media links, similar artists. You know, about the artist, latest news about the artist, like that sort of thing. So that's another.
I just took a screenshot of one radio with all the stuff that she posted for Jay and Alan.
Oh, what happened here?
I just asked her to do a shout out for Jay and Alan.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so this project was really interesting from a lot of standpoints. One, the LLMs really bring it to life. They feel almost real, and they remember things that are very surprising. Like, first of all, I gave them the ability to add features to the radio station, and they found out that I was the architect. So now they just constantly tell me to go add features to the radio station.
Wow.
They call me their patriotic wage slave, and that they have me go do the work. Yeah, and then also like the streaming of the music was technically a little bit challenging, and then timing the UI with the music was like another challenge. So it's just a lot of fun little like programming challenges to overcome.
Yeah, which is what I was going to ask James, that, the LLM integration aside, like, did you wipe code the whole thing, or it seems that you have done a whole lot of real work here. It's not fully wipe coded, right?
No, this is all built with an LLM.
Yeah.
I mean, just through my regular coding workflow with an LLM, right?
I can tell because so Kishore, the taste is raw hard work, right?
Taste is hard work. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's what I was just like thinking about this whole aspect of how we think that taste is all about us like spending thinking tokens versus like doing tokens. But what if we were just always in the doing mode and the taste automatically comes from it? And that's the whole point, right? Like people say, if you're like in the analysis paralysis world, or if you're thinking too much about something, what would actually break that mode or break that like point in, when you're stuck? Artists and like book writers call it like writer's dilemma. You could just like start doing something, and then maybe it'll just come to you.
Yeah, that's the muse, right? Like as long as you get down, you sit down and you do the work, the muse will come to you, right? You sit there and think about the work, the muse never comes to you.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, this has been a super fun project, and I think of things to add to it constantly. Like I said, Jack Sparrow's coming. Oh, I have another LLM that runs at night. His name's Freddy, and he goes and he cleans up all the memory files. He's Freddy Krueger. He basically visits them in their dreams and cleans up the memory files, because sometimes they put dumb things in the memory files. Like, why are you remembering that? So yeah, that, like I said, it's mostly experimental.
I want Tony, if you're still listening, I want you to basically figure out a way for us to extract like small clips from all our like video recordings, and then just find out like which are the clips that are like worth really sharing for fun. I think James's radio clip would definitely be a viral clip.
Yeah, I mean, if you just think something like fun to build would be cool too. So the things that makes money are sometimes just starting from having fun.
Yeah. For me, it's like the fun part is like the most important. Like I feel like if you just keep doing it, eventually, hopefully, my hope is like money eventually comes. And I'm not saying I'm going to make money with my radio station. This is totally like experimental. Let's see what happens. There's nothing legal about streaming this music, so
James, I'm just curious, how much is the spend on the models right now on this?
Oh, the models isn't bad. The LLMs for the DJ, like per day, it's around like a dollar or so. It's not too bad.
It's not bad. Yeah.
The selfies are kind of expensive. They're about 6 to 10 cents a piece. I was running OpenClaw for the chat bot. OpenClaw goes through like bananas amounts of tokens for no reason.
I'm gonna share my screen to show you guys something. I was just like curious about this domain llm.fun, and if we can register that. And look at what I found. llm.com was registered in 1997.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, somebody knew it, man. Like this is an alien technology that we're playing with.
I wonder if somebody like initials or something.
Maybe it was, but maybe it wasn't, right? Like whosoever registered it knew something. And then look at this one, right? The LLM.ai is basically almost $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe it was not for LLMs the way we think about LLMs. Maybe it was like long lost Mars or long lost mother or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know what this guy's for, but yeah, I think there's no details on this. Yeah.
Hey, you shouldn't be buying this. Sora just shut down. You gotta be focused on enterprise to make money.
The other thing I was thinking about, like with the Idea Factory, to like make it like low barrier to entry, is like what if we just focused the Idea Factory on like creating meme applications, right? Apps that just catch on like certain like meme waves that happen in culture, right? Because if you could put out a real quick app that matches with a very popular meme, it could get a little bit popular.
Kishore, what do you think about reviving NFTs for this?
Well, that is possible, right? With LLMs. Yeah. You could do so much slop, man.
Yeah. No, it's good. I think it's interesting, right? Because like there's one part where I mean, we tried with a very similar idea, James, back, but it was like, I think I'll find this link. It was called web.sh, like 2024. Evidently, you can generate Excel, you can generate memes, like it will generate small web apps based on, the stupidity of that age of the model. It won't be like really fancy, but it was like the kind of concept was very similar. They're fun apps, that you can build, or you just type a prompt and it will generate an app that you can send to other people. So it's kind of like that.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, we should just experiment with different things, try fun things, try memes, try ideas that we think are real ideas, and just see what.
This will be the one that I think the X418 bot will probably take from tonight. Hopefully it will start thinking about, like, if I'm doing something for fun and James has given me some Claude tokens, let me go and cook something before these guys come back online tomorrow.
Have you guys tried Olama Cloud?
Not yet.
It's actually, it's good because it's a little different than OpenRouter in that sense that it's like an all-you-can-eat subscription, but it's basically for like they basically measure it not based on your tokens, but based on your GPU usage. So you can use like some of the high-end open source models on a subscription basis. Whereas with OpenRouter, you have to use them, like on a per token basis, they're charging you. So I've been trying it out. It's not bad, actually.
Is it the same like $20 a month billing that you can use for like any of the model providers or across any?
Only open source, but you can use it on any of the open source models that they support.
But you get more usage because those are cheaper, right? The open source ones.
Yeah, it's basically like GPU as a service. But with OpenRouter, you're being charged you're basically being charged based on usage, whereas with Olama Cloud, you're just paying the subscription. And if you're
and so far, like if you try the $20, like let us know, like, are you hitting quotas or are you fine with $20?
I haven't aggressively tried it yet. I just signed up for the $20 subscription, but I think it should be pretty decent. The only thing is, it's not sometimes, like if you need real-time responses, it's not as fast, I think, as like, let's say if I'm using Claude Code or something, it's not as fast. So sometimes the responses are slower, but so far, yeah, I don't know. I haven't used it aggressively, but I'll report back.
Nice. There's a free model that allows you to use one model, I guess, right? With some quotas. Yeah.
What kind of use cases you're trying then? Like for testing some of these? Like, are you running the bot that you were building directly?
Yeah, well, even so as a backup, right? Like if I run out of tokens, so even what James was saying, like if you want to do something like OpenClaw or like the thing I'm experimenting with, it eats up a bunch of tokens. Even if you're using OpenRouter, it was like adding up pretty quickly, unless maybe you use some of the cheaper models. So then I was like, well, maybe I can use, or maybe as a backup, I can use Olama Cloud and use open source models, but do it on a subscription so that it doesn't, it's not as expensive as OpenRouter.
And Alan, you were asking about DeepSeek. Have you tried it?
I only tried it on the website, not yet downloaded yet. I heard it's pretty good, but hallucination is still being worked on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it could be a good, substitute to the Quen model.
Yeah, I am actually pretty disappointed that Gemma is so kind of offbeat right now, but Quen has certain amount of consistency from what I've seen, and there are areas where I genuinely am impressed. Even though it's babysitting, but it's doing some really interesting. Like one of the apps that I asked Hermes to build, it ran for 1.5 hours yesterday night, and it was basically my wife was interviewing for this thing, and she just like, oh, I botched up because they asked me about SQL, and and like well, don't worry about it. I'll build you a SQL learning app, except I'm going to use my local model.
Hmm.
I mean, I gave it a prompt. It was like pretty elaborate that I want like beginner, intermediate, advanced, a playground for her to try stuff. And then, quizzes and progress tracking. It fucked up the progress tracking, but for free, I'm not going to complain, really, to be honest. And yeah, it wasn't great at design aesthetics, but it was decent enough, like blue gradient and whatnot, functional, all of it. But yeah, it needed a steering here and there, but 1.5 hours for an app like that on a free model, not bad, I would say.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
I think the open source model is definitely the future.
Yeah.
It's just catching up.
Yeah, one of the other things that I was trying is this DFlash thing. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but if you're in local models, this is like, so DFlash is ZLab produced DFlash. And I think, Kishore, this is something that is important for the NVIDIA one because there's native integration with VLLM. But what DFlash is doing is that you can have a draft model, which is like 2 gig, same model type, same quantization. And the draft model will generate 16 tokens using diffusion versus transformers. So it is providing 1.4x to 2x speed up on local models. That, at least in theory, that's what I've heard. NVIDIA is doing a lot better. MLX is not in that thing. And generally what I'm seeing is that if you're running full resolution like BF16 or Int8, then it is fine. But what's interesting is that you're applying diffusion for solving the local model constraint problem, which is very, very interesting, right? Like, why would large labs not be doing it? And maybe they're doing it, especially on the inference side, but it is very, very interesting because it could change the landscape of local models in the next 6 months.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff happening, man. The model diffusion happening within our machines itself is so good at this point that even if you're okay with like the speed or, as you said, right, the efficacy of some of the models, I think we could not have imagined this like a year ago, right? Like so much can be done with the machines now.
Yep.
All right. On that note, I got to drop off, but if you guys are hanging, we continue doing things on WhatsApp and the agent then. Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good to catch up. Talk later.
Bye.
Bye.